Welcome back. Now, in case you missed it, the Badgers do play some football today, and that's not surprising news as they do have a tough task ahead of them. They're heading down to see number 19 Alabama down in Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Sure will be a tough task. And what also may not come as a surprise, ESPN's Pete Thamel reported earlier today that starting quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. is unlikely to play for a second straight week. He will be traveling with the team and potentially participating in warm-ups, but as of now, it looks like San Diego State transfer quarterback D'Antonio will be starting once again for the Badgers this week. And on the other hand, it looks like the Tides are coming into this one with some good news, as wide receiver Ryan Williams is likely to play after coming out of concussion protocol for the Crimson Tide. Williams went down in Alabama's season-opening loss against Florida State and missed last week against Louisiana Monroe. Williams led the Crimson Tide last season with 865 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns through 48 catches just as a freshman. And earlier this week, head coach Luke Fickell spoke on Williams and how they can contain him and how they're preparing for what will likely be a big crowd on Saturday.
It's a hard look to simulate. Let's just start there, because it's not like you've got a bunch of those guys that we can put in there to say, hey, we're gonna simulate the speed. But his versatility, I think the way they move him around is where even seeing the growth from last year to game one. Yeah, we got to prepare like he's going to be there. I would assume that he's going to be there, but also you can put too much of a focus on things like that too. So I think there's a balance. It's not like the other guys are guys that you don't have to worry about, or guys you wouldn't like to some way somehow double cover or have some in and outs on. So I think you got to be able to do the things that you do, but you got to also be aware of the different things that in particular he brings. Well, this is one of those ones that I know guys had circled for many reasons, right? Obviously the way things went last year, but also for the idea like, look, there's nothing more that you want to do as a competitor than be in the in the biggest games and the biggest competition out there, and to go to Alabama to play in front of that crowd, to go down there to play in the SEC country. I think that there's not a guy within our program that doesn't say that's one of the reasons why they're here. Can you really get the noise as loud as it's going to be on Saturday? I don't think we can, but we'll surely try.
Again, O'Neal likely getting the start for Wisconsin for the second straight week, which isn't necessarily a bad result for the Badgers. The sophomore coming off of a near stellar performance in the Badgers win over Middle Tennessee State, completing 85% of his passes for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. He becomes the first Badger since 1995 to complete 85% or more of his passes, with over 25 attempts in a game. And despite walking into this season with a different role than he has found himself in now, he is fully embracing it and turning into a leader that has fueled Wisconsin to a 2-0 start. Having the starting experience has surely helped O'Neal as he's now gearing up for one of the biggest starts in his career at Bryant-Denny Stadium. But even with the big expectations heading in, he knows exactly what the Badgers need to do in order to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah, if we go down there and we do our thing, if we play a full 4 quarters of smash mouth football, I'm really excited to see what we'll be able to do. And I know that, maybe there is some extra motivation this week, just because of, how the game did go last year, that the guys are going to come out swinging. And I know that we're going to fight our hardest, and just really excited for the opportunity to go down there and, try and put ourselves on the map. Everyone's been doubting us. No one really talks about us. I think we're 18-point dogs, so just being able to go out there and prove to the country who we are and what we can do is something that we're looking forward to. Yeah, they're still Alabama, so they got a bunch of good athletes. They're well coached, and it's going to be a good opportunity for us to really see where we're at going into a hostile environment, playing a really good team, and just seeing how we stack up against them. Honestly, I think the environment and everything, it can definitely play a factor. I know we're going to be prepared with, all the different cadences that we have, repping those out for, loud environments. So I think we're going to be prepared for it. And, I'm just excited to get down there and play ball.
Badgers and Bama coming at you in just 2 days. Kickoff is set in Tuscaloosa at 11 a.m. at Saban Field. The game will be streamed on ABC. But we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere because we've got Packers to talk about.